welcome. What we're about to share with you is a journey that we've experienced now for approximately a year and a half, and this journey has received the name Shambhala Oneness. And we've had so much fun, so much pleasure, so much joy in creating all of this.
Yes.
And although it has taken almost a year and a half to translate it from the Dutch language into the English language, we're actually quite pleased that it has taken that time, because we've perfected it, we've added bits and pieces here and there, we've made changes, which has made it an absolute beautiful flow.
Yes.
And to give you just a little bit of background of what Shambhala Oneness is, how it come to pass, who of course we are. I'm pretty sure you know me by now because you've seen a lot of my videos. I am of course Ian Henderson, and this is my partner in this whole project and many more projects. And this is
Mario van Wenen.
Yes.
I'm a Dutch.
Yes, she's Dutch. So occasionally she might trip up over the English language, but we'll do our best.
I do my best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, let's go back through the years, and so that you have a bit of an idea where we're going with this material. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, knows about Reiki. Now, Reiki came through approximately 1850, it came through in Japan, and in that time it was pretty regimental, bound by rules. And Japan, I mean, goodness gracious, it's a country that are very, very following rules and,
yes,
you know, etiquette and things like that. So you can imagine that Reiki was based on that kind of energy, and there hasn't really been that much of a change through all of these years. But it's a beautiful energy. I mean, please don't misunderstand us. We love the energy of Reiki. It's a beautiful beginning for people who are starting to awaken within themselves, to know that they are more than they perhaps ever realized that they are.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful energy. But there was a period, certainly in my life, around about 2002, when I was introduced to Shambhala MDH, that was brought through by a wonderful gentleman called John Armitage. And having experienced Shambhala MDH, I have to say that it was a life-changing experience for me. I loved the energies. I did attunements all over the world to literally hundreds of people. And the beautiful thing of having done that was that I realized at a certain point, the more I gave, the more that came back to me in the circle in the form of my own gifts, my own awakening to higher and higher levels continually. And then of course I met Mario at a certain period on my path. And when did I attune you to the Shambhala?
2007.
2007,
yes.
Okay. And Mario was just as crazy about these energies,
yes,
although in the beginning, to be quite honest, you really didn't think, well, I'm not going to do much with this, but it just seemed to happen to you, didn't it?
Yes. I attuned many people in 1 year.
You sometimes 5 or 6 in a
yes,
week. Yeah.
Yes, so I liked it too.
Yeah, and it did a lot for you too,
yes,
didn't it? Yeah.
Of course, yes.
So we have a lot to be grateful for in our past with these beautiful energies. And it was kind of comical, really, how it really sort of started to happen and to change with us. I remember the day perfectly, as if it was yesterday. I happened to be led along out on the settee,
yes,
enjoying the Grand Prix. I love the Grand Prix. And usually when, you know, the Grand Prix is on, well, I don't like to be disturbed. And I could see just across the room, Mario was doing some little bits and pieces to amuse herself. And I could feel all of a sudden that something was going on. I could feel there was something coming through. I could feel the energy change in her. And of course she turned around and she looked at me, and it was like, I need to tell you something.
Yes.
And what was it?
A few minutes before I tell Ian, Jermaine was connecting me and he said, do you want to make an update of Shambhala MDH.
Yeah.
And he explained there was the energy of the female have to introduce to Shambhala Oneness.
Yeah.
It's a very important part to get in drie-eenheid.
Yes, in triality.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, triality, yeah. It's really comical because at that time we were very, very busy with our own projects, setting up our own business and stuff like that. So we didn't really have time for something new, and it was, as soon as she told me, it was like, yeah, right, I don't think so. So to start off with, there certainly was quite a bit of resistance from me. But as always, I mean, I've worked with Jermaine now for many years on certain different subjects, and he knows me. He knows me better than anybody else, probably better than I know myself.
A little bit stubborn.
Well, a little bit maybe, just a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So he kind of like just let it ride, and of course eventually I felt the urge, I felt the nudge to go back to the Shambhala NDH materials. And actually, I got to admit, I was quite shocked. Although they are beautiful materials, they are absolutely expansive. But there was one great big part that was missing. And as Mario mentioned, it was still very much in the electric energy, in the patriarchal energy, the male energy. There wasn't much mention of the goddess energy. And I believe it was at the end of 2008, I'm not quite sure, that John really started to come through with these materials. And way back then, it wasn't really known about the God Code, for instance, or the Magdalene manuscripts. There wasn't really much written about, for instance, Jesus and Magdalena. There wasn't really much known about it. So it's absolutely perfectly logical that it wasn't really integrated into the materials. And I gotta be honest, when I look back and I look back at the date, I looked at that period of time and it was like, my God, that's only 13 short years ago. And it was 13 years ago when we were starting to do this. It was, wow, my goodness. The evolution of humanity is going like rocket speed. And we thought, well, yeah, let's just see what happens here. And we started working on it, on the materials. Eventually we took out a lot of the old symbols that we felt had been replaced with new and more powerful symbols.
Yes, and we made a history map.
We made a history map so that it's still there for you to read if you want to enjoy the past, if you will, of how it developed. But we took it to a new level. We took it to a level of balance, of the integrated male and female, Mario, if you will, in me and me in Mario. So that I had the female energies inside of me and she had the male energies inside of her. So we were balancing them for each other, within each other.
The heart and the mind.
The heart and the mind, the brain and the feeling, or the thinking and the feeling. And we really started to put these materials together, and not only were we writing these materials so that people could get a grasp of what is changing, but we started to make a lot of YouTube films as well.
Yes, because they told us that it's time that everybody takes his own responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the master, but of the student.
It's both. It's a shared responsibility now, and it's being in sacred truth with each other. We're no longer allowing ourselves, if you will, to be just simply led and just to simply follow instructions. Those times have changed, and we are becoming very much more dependent within ourselves, making our own choices, taking our own responsibilities. We've stopped doing the finger pointing thing. We've made videos about this before, which I'm sure you'll be able to find back again. But when you're pointing a finger to somebody else or putting the blame onto somebody else, not many people actually realize that there's one finger pointing to the other, but there's always three fingers pointing back to yourself. Now, we'll let you play with that one for a little while and think about it.
Yes.
But as this started to develop, we started to realize not only was it an attunement, but it was also an education. And what we've done is, with these materials, we've taken it from a pretty low level, low vibrational introduction level in one. We've taken it all the way through, and eventually what we've done is we've taken it up to a high vibrational in a knowing level with lots of information on different subjects that, if you will, absolutely expands anybody who follows these courses and the films.
It's a journey, a beautiful journey.
A beautiful journey.
From ego consciousness to conscious consciousness. It brings you to oneness.
I like that.
Yes.
I like the way you put that one, yeah. Because when we started out with this, of course we didn't realise back then, when we started bringing this information through, that the first, which is the Shambhala Oneness, would be very much about ego consciousness.
Yes.
And there's a lot of videos in there. You know, there's so many people yet still here on earth that are not consciously aware of what their ego does. How it blocks us, how it stops us from growing, how it kind of, it's a self-sabotage thing in a way, if you will. But what we've done is we've lifted up, we've lit up the ego, we've pointed out how the ego, if you will, has blocked us on our journey for quite some time. But another beautiful aspect of it is that we've given a lot of tools to work with the ego. And some of them are a great deal of fun. You're going to love them. Certainly Harry and Truce.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll leave that for you to discover as you go through the materials. We don't want to spoil it for you right now. But as you go through this, you'll see that there are indeed a lot of tools that help you understand. A lot of the films give explanations. We've built in a lot of meditations to take you on inner journeys. That I'm sure at a certain point, if you can't straight away, at a certain point you will start to visualize them. It happened to us, so why shouldn't it happen to you? And again, like we said, there's a lot of tools there.
We sowing the seeds.
Yeah.
Seeds of wisdom.
Yeah.
To know yourself. Discernment.
You did a good job again.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, we're filling each other in perfectly here. Mario just mentioned a magic sentence there. You know, gone are the times of the gurus, gone are the times, if you will, of the leading lights that are there to guide us and stuff like that. What we've basically done here is we put a lot of material together, a lot of tools together, but basically all Mario and I are doing are sowing seeds.
Yes.
Our words, the things that you will find in these materials, we're simply sowing seeds.
And it's up to you.
Yes. Whether they give it water,
yes.
whether they give it sunlight, whether they give it love,
yes.
or whatever they do with it. It's up to you now. You know, we've given you a heck of a lot of materials, a heck of a lot of stuff to work on throughout the course. And again, like we said, we built it up around many different subjects.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about it is, as well, maybe one subject will resonate with you and another won't. But there's enough materials in there whereby you can do your research to find out more about it if it prickles you.
Yes.
Yeah. You wanted to say it?
Yes. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, very much so.
In this period.
Yeah.
And we love it when you want to travel this journey with us.
Absolutely.
A journey to oneness.
A journey to oneness, yeah. And I think to round this one off, again, we're talking about ego consciousness here, and you'll find throughout the materials that we talk about certainly 3 levels of consciousness. And as you move, if you will, through the ego consciousness, becoming aware of what it is, what it does, where it's taking us, it's absolute perfection. Because as you start to realize what the ego is and how it works, you become conscious.
Yes.
And that takes it into the next level, which is consciousness. You live your life consciously, making your choices consciously. And that is a beautiful place to be, because it certainly is empowering. It's much more fun.
Yes.
Life does become one, if you will, of a magical journey of receiving presents every day.
Yes.
And even if the presents are not nice, if you have the courage to
Open
unwrap
it.
the presents, there's a lot of insights and wisdom and expansion to be gained in those too. And then of course then there's the third level, which is God consciousness, which is oneness. And that's why we call this course Shambhala Oneness. Because basically what we're doing is indeed we are sowing the seeds to assist you to lift yourself into oneness consciousness, God consciousness, Shambhala Oneness.
And we hope you will enjoy it.
We know you're going to enjoy it. I mean, look at us.
Yes.
We're still having a lot of fun with this. And the beautiful thing for us now, it's coming out in the English language.
Yes.
Yes. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that too.
Yes, of course.
So maybe someday, somewhere, we'll actually be in your own country, coming to visit you, coming to share this with you, and generally just enjoying each other.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Shambhala Oneness Introduction. I hope you feel as excited as we do, and we'll leave an address here under at the bottom of the screen that you can order the first level and enjoy it for yourself, and then make your own conscious choice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
Until soon. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Namaste.
Namaste.